Stone Manor stood like a secret carved from stone, poised on the edge of a storm-lashed cliff. Its windows flickered with light, but its halls whispered of ghosts. On that night, the sea roared below, and lightning fractured the sky. Inside, laughter and music danced under the chandeliers. It was the night of the Midnight Masquerade, Lady Evangeline Thorne's final soiree. The guests arrived, cloaked in elegance and deception, masks of gold and silver, smiles painted on lies. At the heart of it all was Lady Evangeline herself, radiant, sharp as glass, her sapphire necklace catching each flicker of candlelight like a watchful eye. She greeted every guest with that same practiced charm and a secret that each of them feared she might reveal. First was Mr. Vale, her lawyer, loyal, nervous, and recently dismissed. He had arrived with trembling hands, knowing she had discovered the missing funds from her late father's estate. Their arguments the previous night had echoed through the corridors. "Repay it or face ruin," she had said. Now he smiled too widely. Then came Madame Corin, draped in red velvet, once Evangeline's closest friend, until Evangeline stole the man she loved. Corin had returned from Paris that very morning, uninvited. Her note to the lady read, "We need to talk before midnight." Mrs. Hargrave, the housekeeper, moved through the guests like a ghost, her eyes downcast, her lips tight. 30 years she has served the Thorne family, and yet the new will Evangeline drafted would leave her nothing. The staff had whispered she had been seen weeping in the garden the day before. And finally, Lord Whitby, the fiancé, handsome, composed, dangerous. He had met Evangeline in the study that very evening, voices raised, a glass shattered. She had called off the wedding. He had called her a fool. At the stroke of 11, the clock chimed, the lights dimmed, shadows rippled across painted walls. Evangeline lifted her glass. "To truth," she said, and before everyone could drink, the storm outside roared and the manor fell into darkness. A scream tore through the walls, then silence. When the light returned, Lady Evangeline Thorne lay by the grand piano, still, her sapphire necklace broken. By dawn, Inspector Beaumont arrived, tall, patient, eyes sharp as a blade. He studied the room, the shattered glass, the faces. "No one leaves," he said softly, "until I find the hand that took her life." In the drawing room, the guests gathered. Rain lashed the windows, masks lay forgotten. Beaumont began with Mr. Vale. "You were her lawyer. You knew her affairs." Vale's fingers trembled as he poured tea. "She was going to ruin me," he stammered, "but I didn't kill her." He wouldn't meet the inspector's eyes. Next, Madame Corin. She smiled, a smile too perfect. "She betrayed me long ago," she whispered, "but she invited me tonight. She said she wanted to apologize." Imagine that. Her perfume lingered in the air, sweet and suffocating. Mrs. Hargrave stood by the window, her apron stained with wine. "She was cruel," she said bitterly. "Always was. But I prayed for her. I did." Her eyes glistened, not with grief, but something colder. And Lord Whitby, he sat alone, staring into his untouched drink. "She humiliated me before them all," he said softly. "I went to her room to beg her forgiveness. She laughed in my face." He looked up slowly. "Why didn't you touch her?" Inspector Beaumont returned to the ballroom. There, on the floor near the piano, he found a torn letter, damp from spilled wine. It was a will, a new one, everything left to charity. He turned the page over. Smudged beneath her name was a single fingerprint, faint but visible in the candlelight. He smiled. It wasn't Whitby's. He followed the scent of perfume to the study. On the desk sat an empty vial, poison. Beside it, 2 glasses and a handkerchief embroidered with the letter C. But when he turned to confront Madame Corin, her seat was empty. The window behind her chair open, curtains fluttering in the storm. The guests rushed to the balcony. Below, the cliffs plunged into darkness and sea. Only the sound of wind and waves remained. Inspector Beaumont stood still for a long moment. Then he whispered, almost to himself, Perhaps some debts are never meant to be paid in this world. By morning, the manor was still. The guests departed one by one, each carrying their own version of the truth. One question on their mind: did Madame Corin fall to her death that night, or did she escape into the storm, carrying her secrets with her? Well, we will never know. Same time, next time. This was the Midnight Masquerade by El Karim Tales, where masks fall and truth takes its time.